Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Kira. My name is Kira, and if you can't tell by the title up there, this is gonna be my college admissions video slash why or how I chose the college that I'm going to. So yeah, y'all are finally gonna find out where I'm going to college for the next 4 years of my life. And okay, get some tips from me on how you could also make your decision, and like what you might look for, I'm just gonna give a lot of just tips, like stuff that I've done and stuff like that. But before we get started, if you have not seen my college admissions reactions video, that will be up in the cards up here if you want to click on that, and then it will also be in the description box down below so that you can watch that. And there will also be a link in the cards and down below to my stats video and college application advice video. Both of those are long videos. One is I want to say 26-27 minutes, and then my stats video is about 33 minutes. Yeah, I just finished. It took me forever to edit that one, but in my stats video, I not only give you my stats, I tell you every class that I took in high school, the scores on the ACT test that I got, and also I give advice on the college application process, and what helped me through it. And then I tell you every extracurricular that I stayed involved in throughout high school. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all the colleges that I applied to, whether or not I got in or not. Which, if you watch my reaction video, once again, up in the cards and in the description box, then you will be able to see my actual reaction. But here, I'm just going to tell you flat out if I got accepted or denied, or even deferred. So yeah, we're just going to hop right into the video. Sorry for moving my hands a lot. Oh, and then also, the details on this hair. There will be a video coming soon about this as well. I have a picture. I have a picture on my Instagram, which will be in the description box, as well as at the end of this video. There will be, also my social medias will be on the screen. And so yeah, I have a picture of this hair if you want to see it more up close or whatever. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm just gonna start off with what I think are good things to look for in a college, and then the second half of this video will be my list of colleges, what I looked for, how I made my list, and my college reveal of how I decided to go where I'm going. So basically, just to start off with, what I think is something key would be to at least narrow down either your major or what you're interested in studying in school, just so that you, as a way to just start off your college list would definitely be just to narrow down your major, your interest, if you don't know what major you're interested into yet, and stuff like that, just because it'll make it easier to find your school, because you'll be able to just be like, okay, this school doesn't have that, this school does, stuff like that. And then next would be what kind of college that you are into, whether that is if it's a big party school, just stuff off the head, if it's a big party school, if there's Greek life, if they're into sports, stuff like that, those kind of characteristics. Or if you're into the reputation of the school, stuff like that. That would be something to be interested in, because it's the environment that you'll be in. So you want to when you're picking a school, I'm sorry if my words are getting jumbled up, but when you're picking a school, you want to know how you fit in to that school. There's already several people there. I'll say several thousand, depending on where you go. Several thousand people there that are pretty they all go to that school for a reason, and you want to see if you fit in to that school, and I wouldn't say everybody else's reasonings, but why people stay there, because if there's people there who've been there about 2-3 years, there's a reason why they've stayed, and the college's images and stuff like that is what, keeps that environment, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like their reputation of the school or whatever. So those were my first two. Next would be location. So, and what I mean by location is not just like, whether it's in-state or out-state, but if it's like a college town, a large city, like this school is within a large city, or if it's rural, like a college town with college, a school that's in a college town is like, that college is like a big part of the town that it's surrounding. Like the downtown part of the city of that town will be like a couple minutes walk or bus right away. Like it's really easy to get to some shops and stuff like that, because it's like that college is almost like integrated into the city or town that it's in. A large city school, Georgia Tech, stuff like that, those are the colleges that are in large cities, like Georgia Tech is in Atlanta, like stuff like that. So it's in a large city, and some people like those because it's more stuff. Like you can leave your campus and go and do stuff within the city, and just like get away from like the more college things. So like concerts, stuff like that wouldn't be held by the campus, but it's a way to like leave. Like that's how I would explain it. Stuff like that. And then a more rural campus is one that like the campus is set away from everything else. Like to go somewhere you gotta drive or catch a bus type stuff. That's a more rural campus. So that's what I mean by location, and like making sure, like seeing what type you want. That way you can rule out a whole bunch of other stuff that's like not where you would want it to be, like not in the environment, the actual physical environment that you would want to be. So see if you want to stay in your state or out of state. That's when you eliminate those type of things or broaden those type of things, depending on which or not, stuff like that. And then another thing would be the size of the school. So there are small schools, medium schools, and large schools, just like how with many high schools, elementary schools, stuff like that. So yeah, way to gauge that would be the size of the undergrad. So if you look, when you're looking up colleges and stuff like that, like their websites, they will have like the amount of undergrad that they have which ranges, So if the undergrad is like 12,000 and below, that's a small school. A medium school like 25,000. I gauge 25,000 as like a medium school. Yeah, 25,000, a medium school. And then like 65,000 is a large school, like Texas A&M. They're around there. It's like 66,000, something like that. It's probably more now, but like when I was looking them up, it's like 67,000. Yeah, large school. That'd be like that size. So gauge like how you want that. And when it comes to that type of sizing, the smaller schools will have also smaller class sizes. So like the smaller schools is where you can gauge that more intimate class experience, while the larger schools will have really large classes. So like lectures, a lot of people say how they're not intimate and stuff like that. But when it also comes to that, those lectures also have discussion groups, like breakout groups that are smaller, where you talk to a TA, or sometimes it's even like it's even your lecture teacher, like the actual teacher, who will handle those, and then you can discuss more stuff with that. A lot of people say that with more intimate classrooms, the teachers tend to care more, but I feel like it just kind of depends on that teacher, because that could happen anywhere. Next would be, you look up price, financial aid, and scholarships. So sometimes price varies, obviously, depending on like the type of student that you plan on being. But like they'll on the school's website, they'll have a general like admission cost to like tuition cost, and then like have a range for like the books and stuff like that. And they won't break it down by major, but they'll have like a general cost of like the school, stuff like that. When it comes to financial aid, sometimes when you look up a school, they'll have they have like the general, not the general, but like the, what's it called? I might have like a pic. I might be able to put a picture on the screen where it says like how much school costs after financial aid for like the average student. That's what it. That'd be the best way to describe it. I'll probably put a picture on the screen to like clarify what I'm talking about. So like some schools, like say a school's like 32,000, then on the website they'll have, okay, after financial aid, this student was only paying like 12,000 out of pocket, stuff like that, that kind of thing. That'd be something to like take note of or just gauge when comparing your colleges. And then the third thing I said was scholarships, because there will also be I don't know if it'll be on, maybe not the college website, but on like College Factual or stuff like that. They'll have like a general statistic of how many scholarships are given out, or even the school will have like a number of like scholarships that were given out the previous year. So like the year before you when applying. So like they're like, oh yeah, this school has given out 130,000 scholarships throughout the years, something like that. And then you can also break that down into your major department, your college, like the college of whatever you're into, that kind of thing, because those also may have their separate scholarships as well, just to see your chance of getting a scholarship. And then with those scholarships through the institution or whatever, they also have certain requirements that might include like your testing scores, your high school GPA, stuff like that. So then you'll be able to compare yourself and see like your chance of getting it, stuff like that. That's something that could be, that you could take note of. And then my last two are like my biggest two tips. So the next one will be checking out like their previous student profiles. But when it comes to this, I'd also make sure that you don't take it as if you don't have what these like their past students, like the past school year, like if you did not have their profiles that you can't get in, don't take it like that, but take it as to see like the general type of students that were able to be accepted. So normally in those student profiles, sorry, I thought I heard something. In those student profiles, they'll say this year the freshman class, that's what we'll say, like this year the freshman class that was admitted had an average GPA of this, an average SAT score of this, and then sometimes they'll also say, oh, it'll also include like diversity factors, stuff like that, like how many students were this race, this ethnicity, stuff like that. Like in that BOA, just to like compare your stats to those like profiles of students that have already been accepted. Almost like a way to compare yourself, but don't rely on it too much, because each student is different in why they got accepted, as well as like how, what's it called, how their situation was, stuff like that. And then so when it also comes to like the student profiles, also would be a good time to see if your school takes a more holistic approach to what's it called, decisions, or a more, what's the other word? I don't know what the other word is, but once I figure it out, it'll be on the screen. Or the other side, or the other approach, which is more based solely on like your stats, GPA, class difficulty, stuff like that. Holistic would take a holistic approach takes every single piece of your application into consideration, when it comes to students, so that um, when it comes to those student profiles, then it's like if they take that holistic approach, then each student is more like individual, if that makes sense. Like you aren't more so just based off your numbers, but off of your extracurriculars, um, your essays, your recommendation letters, stuff like that. Um, a lot of people really like schools that do that kind of approach. I do. Meanwhile, the other approach is more so based off your stats, your GPA, stuff like that. AP testing, I guess, stuff like that, basically. And then my very last one is to look onto college websites. Like, yeah, so when you look at the websites, after you have figured out what is most important to you, you're going to make a list of what colleges you have found by looking into their website, stuff like that. And once you make that list, for each college, you look up what was important to you, and you say whether or not they have that, like, and pros and cons, basically, of that school. And then you're able to go through each college on your list and compare them to each other, helping you make your decision of where you're going to apply to, or once you apply and you get your acceptances and stuff back, where you decide to go. So that is my biggest tip, because with making a list, you're basically able to note down what was important to you and see how each college measured up to that, if that makes sense. So I'm basically going to go through my list, and I'm going to tell you what I found to be important when comparing and contrasting my schools. And then after I tell y'all where I'm going, I'm going to tell you how I chose that. So, I have a list. So, the major that I was looking for when looking for colleges, I was just looking at the biology/biological sciences majors when I made my list, and then also seeing if they had a pre-veterinary track, because that's what I want to do. I want to become a veterinarian, so for undergrad I wanted to be on a pre-vet track to get into vet school. So, I'm going to just tell y'all everywhere I applied to first, and then I'm going to tell you how I broke it down. So, alright, so I applied to University of Georgia, Georgia Institute of Technology, Spelman College, the University of Iowa, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, the University of Illinois at Springfield, Temple University, North Carolina State University, Loyola University at Chicago, Georgia State University, the University of Pittsburgh, Agnes Scott University, Prairie View A&M University, and then I started Cornell University but did not finish. So yeah, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go back and tell you what I was looking for. So, what I looked for was the acceptance rate for each school, their average ACT, the cost of tuition. I put down when their application opened, what was required for the application, as well as like how much the fee was, even though I have fee waivers just in case, to see if they accepted fee waivers or not, and then whether they used like one of the one of the general applications, like the common application or the coalition application, or if I had to apply through the institute. And then I also looked up what scholarships they had that would help me lessen the cost for college. Yeah, that's what I did for each college. So, when I made my list, I had certain ones down there that I was still deciding whether or not I was going to apply to, but when I actually applied, I already told y'all what colleges I applied to. And for each college, I would look that up and just make sure, and then I also made sure they had my major and whether or not they had a pre-vet track. So, yeah. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna let y'all know where I'm going to college. So, I will be attending the University of Iowa. Yeah, I will be a Hawkeye. you can't tell. And right now I'm just gonna tell y'all basically how I made my decision. So I already told y'all my list of colleges and stuff like that. And if you notice on my list, a lot of them are out-of-state schools. So at the moment, I do live in the state of Illinois. And I really wanted to get away from the Midwest, if you can't tell by my list. But when it comes to that, I also am not well off financially. So I tried to do my best in school, which I did. I did my absolute best in school and stuff like that, so that I can get large scholarships. But at the same time, was not a really good standardized test taker. If you watch my stats video, I go more into depth in that. So yeah, I tell y'all my scores and all that kind of stuff like that. So I feel like that would play a part. In like my financial aid packets and stuff like that. I really needed a lot of money to be able to go out of state to where I wanted to go. I forgot to tell y'all, but I got accepted into all my schools. Besides Cornell, because obviously, like I said, I didn't finish the application. I got a decision back and I was rejected, of course. I got scholarships to every single school, and besides Spelman. Yeah, Spelman gave me nothing besides my FAFSA stuff. So when it came to me, besides all the like money stuff, I chose Iowa basically because they had the best, very best financial aid packet for me. It was still out of state. Yes, I'm still going to be in the Midwest, but it's still out of state. And I'm going to go more into the school itself after explaining everything. So, when it came to my list, I really wanted to be in the state of Georgia or Texas because that's where I want to live eventually. So I felt I'm one of those. I'm a Pisces, so just gonna get that out there right now. I'm a Pisces, and I'm one who have always like planned out just about not every. I basically had so many plans for my future and stuff like that. And Georgia or Texas is where I've always wanted to live. So I applied to. I mainly wanted to be in Georgia, if you could tell by my list. So I applied more so there than to Texas, because I felt like Texas was just really high. As you keep watching my channel, we'll see where I end up at. So yeah, I did get the two Georgia schools. Two Georgia schools were actually my top two, which was the Georgia Tech and University of Georgia. So yeah, I really wanted to live in Georgia, but it just wasn't in God's plan at this moment for me to move down there because they did not give me the best financial aid packet. Iowa did. So this is where I'm going. So the University of Iowa was not even in my original list. Shout out to my friend McKenna. This was actually her top school. So she told me about it and like how like their programs were, stuff like that, which led to me researching it myself. So then I saw that they had I applied pre-vet, which is I was able to apply pre-vet. It's not a major, it's what do they call it? It's a track. You know, it's a track. It's not a degree seeking major. I'll eventually have to choose my major, which I'm probably going to be a biology major on this pre-vet track. So yeah, that's how I applied. I got in, obviously, and then she got in, and then she was like, yeah, me and my mom are going to this day at the University of Iowa thing. Do you want to come? And so I went with them, and basically it was 2 days. We were there 2 days. Yeah. So we were there 2 days. The event was only 1 day. And so the first day we got and walked around, saw different shops and stuff like that, which is when I realized that it was a college town. When I saw the city, I really assumed that it it was like a major city. So and that's what I was looking for. I forgot to tell y'all that, but I was looking for either a school in a large city or a college town. I really wanted to be in a college town. I don't know. I really like the college town feel. That's why I was so drawn towards UGA. And then when I found University of Iowa, I was drawn towards it because it's a college town. And like just walking around, it just felt so friendly, which is what I really liked. I really wanted a really great atmosphere to be in because my environment, I feel like, affects me. Like if I feel like it's so negative and stuff like that, I won't thrive as much. So when we were there, everybody just seemed so like excited and just ready to be there type stuff. There was a girl who did our tour of the like biology building. I cannot remember her name, but she was just really great. It was one of her first tours too, I think, and she did so good. But me and my friend McKenna, we connected with her and stuff like that, and I can't remember, I think she was doing pre-med, which my friend McKenna, she's doing pre-med, I'm doing pre-vet, and like she gave us her contact info and everything. I should probably find that. Yikes, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so she just made the tour really like enjoyable, and then we were able to ask her a whole bunch more questions about her being there. So with her, she was also an out-of-state student, so like us, and she was like, yeah, the professors here are just really great. Like we were just able to just ask her a whole bunch of questions, which helped us a lot, and it really like got me to like the school a whole bunch more, because here's this student, it's her first tour and everything, and she's able to just give me so many answers to a lot of my questions. And then the girl who did our campus tour, she was a student as well, and then I was also able to ask her about like dorms and stuff like that. So I was able to get a whole bunch of information out of those two girls, which like answered my questions. They basically filled in a whole bunch of like the blanks for me. Yeah, so I'll have at least 3 advisors when I go there, which was a major thing for me that I didn't even realize till I visited University of Iowa. So that's what also helped them stand out to me. And it just made more sense to me as to why going there would be okay for me. Because even though it turned out to fill in everything for me, a school that's really good on school spirit and sports and stuff like that. I am so into that. I literally love going to football games and basketball games, stuff like that, tailgating. I'm excited for all of that. Not a whole bunch, but some of the colleges on my list weren't able to do that for me. That was great for me. And then when I found out about the advisors, there we go, getting back on track, advisors. It helped me realize that I really wanted a great support team that I would be able to go to and make sure that I would just be on track, basically, for vet school. And that's what I really wanted, because I know it's going to be hard, and getting into vet school and stuff like that is hard. And I just knew that I needed support that would be at my school because it's out of state, and I was really focused on going out of state. So I knew I wanted a great support team for me. And so those were like the biggest things for me. And then it was just a plus that it was a college town. When we were walking on campus, nothing was ever too far. Like, we could walk to downtown fine, easily. Walking from each place was not terrible. There is a hill that I have to get over, but it'll also help me remain active and stuff like that. So that was a plus for me. And let me just make sure I hit everything, but that just really helped me pick my choice, basically, especially because it was not my first choice at all. If you watch my reaction videos, it's the first college that I got accepted to. And I was very excited about that. I was like, oh, like, this is not real. They have a high acceptance rate, but that's like, and that used to be my focus when I was applying, like, the acceptance rates, especially because Georgia Tech was my top school, my dream school, actually. And they have a really low acceptance rate. But once I got in, it was just like, yeah, like, I can really, like, I can do what I put my mind to. It was basically what this whole entire process made me realize. And so that's why I was able to really understand. I was able to talk to my mom about it and everything, about how like going to Georgia wasn't, it wasn't gonna happen at this time. But I know that I can get there, and it's simply because, you know, Iowa's where I'm supposed to be for these 4 years. And then when it comes to that, even like just talking to a lot of my teachers about it and stuff like that, because everybody knew I wanted to go to a Georgia school, but they also knew I wanted to do vet school, and vet school is like graduate years and stuff like that. So every teacher that I was talking to, they would be like, most of people who go off to graduate school live where their graduate school is, not where their undergraduate school is. You know what I'm saying? So, and the University of Iowa doesn't have a vet school. But Iowa State University does. So that's in a different area too. So I'm not going to be living in Iowa City. I'll be living where my veterinary school is. So that's what really helped me accept that the University of Iowa was my best choice, my best option, stuff like that. And it just really, once I accepted that, everything just became like so much clearer in my mind, because I am an overthinker, if you can't tell by this video, and why it's so like, even though I have notes and everything, I still get off track. Accepting that for me was my biggest my biggest revelation, you know, or whatever, to pick Iowa and finally accept all my financial aid and commit to the school. But now, like, it's basically, this whole thing has just made me realize how much plans can change. So yeah, and my biggest tip that I want everyone to take away from this video is definitely to make a list of all the colleges that you want to apply to and everything that they have that is most important to you, so that you're able to compare them to each other. And then my next tip would definitely be to visit if you can. You can see whether you like the actual like aesthetic of the campus, type of stuff like that. The University of Iowa is very beautiful. I actually just took pictures that I might hopefully put on the screen. I even when we did that, I attempted to vlog, it just failed. So I'm probably just gonna put pictures on the screen. And I really wanted a beautiful campus. I got one. Wanted a college town. I got one. So it's like, you know, in the end, everything will work out. This was a very, very stressful process for me. This was very hard, very stressful. But I got through it. I graduated. And I feel amazing. So just stick with it and everything will work out. I promise. So yeah. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out both links in my description box for my past 2 videos if you want to see my stats, what classes I've taken, all my extracurriculars. That'll be the first link, and then the second link will be all my reactions to my decisions. Even though you all know I got accepted to all of mine, you can see what happened because I did get deferred I got deferred twice. So if you want to see which ones I got deferred to, watch it. Yeah, and then also follow all of my links below, all my social media, especially my Instagram and my Twitter, Snapchat. You know, I still use it, but I'm starting to like Instagram story a lot more, just saying. So stay tuned, because in a little over a week, I will be going to my Iowa orientation. It's 2 days, so I plan on vlogging. Tell y'all what my first semester schedule is going to be. I'm also going to let y'all know if me and my roommate got good housing. We will see, because I picked Thursday. So yeah, but peace and blessings, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Bye.